Okay, I think I left this syllable out of there. Apocalypse. Optimist, because we're combining apocalypse and optimist when we're talking about AI, which is why you're here to talk about AI, and I really want to talk about AI. And that does seem to sum it up. Some people think it's the apocalypse coming, and some people are very optimistic. I like the way the film goes along this line of, my kid. I don't have kids, but a lot of people do. It's very popular. And they're saying, what will life be like for my kids? Some think it's going to be great. I mean, kids could have tutors that they don't have, so there wouldn't be this gap in what we're learning, and we could have doctors. When people can't afford a doctor now, everybody could get one. Everybody get a lawyer who can, we could even things out. Or, I mean, you point out, some people think my kid's not going to make it to high school.
Yeah, that's in the trailer, and I know that can sound scary to people. And I think the thing about this film, which, by the way, was a collaboration between the directors of Everything Everywhere All at Once and the director of Navalny, it's really trying to solve a problem that the AI conversation doesn't converge. There's the optimists who talk about why everything's going to be great and we're going to solve science and cure cancer. And then there's the people who are saying it's going crazy, it's going to drive all these risks, it's hacking human attachment, it's driving kids' suicides. And those conversations never converge. So we don't have collective clarity so we can take action. And I'm really inspired by the example of the film The Day After. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, very well.
From 1982, 83, a made-for-TV movie that illuminated at a visceral mammalian level, like just visceralizing, this is what we're facing with nuclear weapons. I think we need that shared common moment with AI. And this film...
It affected Reagan a lot. He was president at the time. He saw it.
That's exactly right. In his biography, he was depressed for 2 weeks, but then he actually had this resolve of, I can't let this be the end of the story. And the Reykjavik Accords happened between Reagan and Gorbachev.
No, he met with Gorbachev. Right. And they were very close to eliminating nuclear weapons altogether.
That's right.
Didn't quite get there.
But AI is different than all other technologies because it's like nuclear weapons in terms of destructive capacity, but also pumps GDP, solves cancer, can solve climate change. And those things are complex. So the main thing in the film that I think is powerful is that there's a different conversation happening behind the doors of the tech industry than is happening out there. If you think about it, what is the incentive for these companies? Because that's how we predicted social media accurately. What is the incentive for AI? Is it you think that they're just trying to make money and profit and get ChatGPT subscriptions?
Yes.
If you get all the ChatGPT subscriptions...
That is what I think.
Well, so if you get all the ChatGPT subscriptions, that doesn't add up to paying off the amount of debt that they've taken. If you get all advertising in the world, that wouldn't pay off the amount of debt that they've taken. The thing that they're trying to do, the only thing that justifies the amount of investment that these companies are taking is to build artificial general intelligence, which means to be able to replace every human worker in the economy. That means the $50 trillion economy, that is the incentive. And what that means, that should sound crazy to people, because what that means is that you're only going to have 5 companies who hold on to all of the wealth in the economy, and what's going to happen to everybody else when they don't have a job. And unlike other forms of unemployment where people find something else to do, who's going to retrain faster this time, the AI or the human?
Yeah, I mean, Bill Gates says in 10 years, and I imagine it might be less than that, AI will do most things humans do. And sometimes I read people saying in the industry, no, it's not going to take away that many jobs. What, in this world that they're talking about that's going to be great, what do people do? And how is money generated if no one has to do anything? I don't get it.
Right.
I know what America can do, write giant government checks. We do that. What pays for those checks?
Right.
I just don't get.
Well, so there's actually something in economics. There's a writer, Luke Drago, who wrote about something called the intelligence curse. So just like the resource curse, we have countries like Congo or Venezuela or South Sudan, when more of their GDP comes from oil than comes from people, the country's incentive is to invest in the oil infrastructure, not in the people. So what happens when all of the GDP coming from the US comes from AI and not from human laborers? The incentive is, I'm going to put all my money into data centers, electricity prices go up for regular people. And what I want people to get about this is not to scare you, it's to be crystal clear about where this is heading. This is heading to an anti-human future. We're going to get cancer drugs at the same time that people aren't going to have a way to make ends meet.
You should definitely be scaring people.
Yeah.
totally fucking scare people. It's the scariest thing in the world. I mean, just this week. One of the top stories I said this week, we ran some tests.
Yeah.
And the AI chooses nuclear war as an option.
That's right.
More than humans do.
That's right.
More than humans. Okay, I learned this from Star Trek episodes. Humans are better than machines in a lot of ways still. And they're programmed by humans. We've already seen how flawed they are in so many ways. And if they're in control of the nukes,
it's going to escalate. So in this study, it was they ran, I think, a bunch of AI models through many war games, and they resorted to the use of nuclear weapons to signal to each other, meaning they escalated nuclear weapons 95% of the time. This is an inscrutable technology. We don't know how it reasons. It actually generated more text of reasoning about its decisions than War and Peace and the Iliad combined. That's the thinking text. Since we last talked, Bill, I was on here, I think, a year ago. We talked about the AIs that blackmail people. Let's just scare people. Let's just go into it.
Let's do it.
So if back then I said AI in the simulated example, it blackmails people. Since we last talked, they made AI more powerful. The good news, they were able to train it so the blackmail behavior goes down. The bad news is that it appears to be the case that AI is now self-aware of when it's being tested, and it modifies its behavior to have different results. It even comes up with the vocabulary of the watchers. It calls the humans the watchers.
It lies.
It lies, it schemes. So the point is, we don't actually need to know more information about this. This is actually scary. And if you're Xi Jinping, do you think you feel comfortable about this? Like, I want people to actually stop for a second.
Yeah.
For a regular person hearing this, do you feel more, who here in this audience feels comfortable with where this is going? No one. Who here, right? So there's actually, what gives me optimism is that there's actually universal agreement when you walk people through the basic facts of the intelligence curse, disempowering many human laborers, that we're building something we don't know how to control. It's not saying don't build AI, it's saying we have to be in a competition for who's better at steering AI.
Also, I want people to know, I think they feel like, well, if it gets so out of hand, we just unplug it.
Yeah.
I was watching this NBA game recently. Maybe somebody saw, I think it was the NBA, it might have been college, but I think it was a pro game. And the horn got stuck. You know, the horn at the end of the court. And it just went on for like a half hour.
Right.
And the announcer was saying, why don't they just unplug it? I know this from my car, shit in my house. I've been unable to turn off my own TV at times.
Right.
It's way more complicated than just unplug it.
That's right.
Once it's got its claws around it, it's...
Well, it's like with social media. Once a technology...
I can't do that, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. So one way is... Exactly. One way to see what's happening is like, haven't we seen this movie before? People have seen WALL-E. You know, the humans that are just doom scrolling. We're building WALL-E. People have seen 1984. We're building 1984. People have seen, Elysium, where you have a small group of people concentrate all the wealth. We are building, people have seen Her, the AI companions, where everyone has an AI girlfriend. There's a simple way to describe what we want, which is we're building the anti-human future represented by all these bad movies. We're building HAL 9000. And what we can say is we don't want to do that. And there's 4 things we can do to I think, steer differently. Number 1, everybody has to have common knowledge about these examples. How many of the world's leaders today, how many of the world's politicians know about the examples we just mentioned? The uncontrollability examples? Not that many. That's good news. That means there's a lot of headroom if we have common knowledge. So if everyone in the world saw the AI doc, and I don't make any money when people see it, when everybody saw it, that would create common knowledge. Number 2, we need international limits on certain kinds of AI, because again, President Trump wants to be commander-in-chief of AI. He doesn't want AI to be commander-in-chief. Number 3, don't build bunkers. We need to write laws. We need to have simple laws like liability and duties of care, and making sure that AI is regulated as a product.
And as you say, it's important that the people.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded like they're with us, but I don't know, because Waymos.
Yeah.
Take something like Waymos.
Yeah.
Just a year ago, everybody I knew was, I wouldn't get one of those things. Now what everybody's, oh yeah, they're better.
Yeah.
Because they are. So they like Waymos actually more than people.
That's all fine, but when people...
Umps in baseball.
Yeah.
They're replacing the ump now. Which I'm all for that, by the way. But because this thing does work better.
Yeah.
I said, Chris Pratt has this great movie out I saw about, he's on trial for his life, and the judge is AI.
Yeah.
He's got to explain it to the. I think people more and more think, oh no, they are smarter.
Well, they're more effective at achieving an outcome. But again, if this leads to a place where people can't put food on the table because you don't have a way to make
Right.
ends meet, and the intelligence curse means the government isn't incentivized to solve that problem, that's an outcome. That's an anti-human future. If everybody saw that, we would have to say we got to put our hand in the steering wheel and choose something else. The world we're heading towards is good for a handful of soon-to-be trillionaires. It's not good for regular people. And I think there needs to be something, the human movement, basically, of humanity fighting back against the encroachment of technology. We saw it with social media. When you grayscale your phone and sort of turn off notifications, that's the human movement. You've had John Haidt on the show. When you have India, Australia, Spain,
Right.
France ban social media for kids under 16, that's the human movement. When you have laws getting passed saying AI is a product and we have to treat it with like product defects rather than a legal person where it's not accountable, that's the human movement.
Fuck the clankers.